Today I've made a little over $3,337, and in this video I want to talk about the exact strategy, the systems and the procedures that we've got in place in order to make that money. We also want to talk about how we went about getting our model subscribers, what our game plan was, what our strategy was, and how you can replicate the exact same. Basically just walk you through our entire process that we implement at my agency. Oh, before I continue with this video, I do just want to bring something important up, and it's that you don't want to focus on the 3K that I talk about within this video that I made today, because the 3K, I understand that it's just to generate traffic for this video. However, it's not about the money that you're generating, it's about what you're doing in the back end and the actions that are compounding on themselves. But what I want you to walk away from this video with is our exact game plan, how we launched our promotional strategy, and the management systems that we implemented in our models account. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So as we've said, we're going to get straight into it. So first, let's take a look at the game plan that we implement inside models accounts. So it's important to have a game plan when starting to work with any OnlyFans account, because without a game plan, you're going to be directionless, and without a direction and focus in which the model account will eventually reflect the lack of direction and focus. So here is our game plan. Step one is to craft the model's online persona. So figure out the model's assets. For example, if she's got big tits and a big ass, and she's into gaming, then an e-girl niche would be good for her. If she's into fitness and she's got lots of fitness clothes and wear, then a fitness model would be a good niche to target. You need to do research into that online persona that you're crafting, because the online persona is going to need to be iterated across the whole social presence for the model, and it's going to need to be congruent with the model's OnlyFans account. So that's our step one. Step two is to identify promotional channels that complement that online persona. So for example, fitness models, they tend to do very well on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. So TikTok and Instagram would be a very good strategy. E-girls, they tend to perform well on Reddit. So identify promotional channels that perform well with that particular online persona. Step three is to execute on the promotional channel. So we execute on that promotional channel and we're identifying whether it works or not. So we want to have proof of concept. Step four is to aggregate results. So we're going to be using tracking links. We're going to be identifying the subscribers that come through from this certain promotional channel, their spend in the back end, so we can actually see whether we're actually getting high quality and we're getting a return on investment on the time and energy that we invest in growing that OnlyFans models account. And then step five is to reiterate on the feedback to either switch the promotional channel or double down on certain mediums. And you're just going to want to rinse and repeat this process from step three down to step five again. So we're just executing, aggregate the results, and then reiterate on the feedback, and basically just keeping that continued loop going. So the strategy that we have, our strategy that we use for our models accounts, is a very holistic overview, and we want to work with talent in the market and accentuate that talent through using feedback to reiterate on the results that we've generated. And that is why implementing the tracking links and a thorough reporting process is vital, as it will allow you to take non-biased analytical point of view on what is working for the model and what isn't. And based on that information, you can then calculate the next move for the model's account. So you don't want to be doing guesswork, thinking, well, I think TikTok is performing well. You know, I do consulting for OnlyFans agencies, and when they hop on a call, I ask them, okay, what promotional channels are you using for that particular model? And they come back, well, we tried TikTok. TikTok is working okay. We're getting, a few impressions on it. And then we're also implementing Twitter, and we're getting a few promotional, impressions on that as well. That's not the depth that you need to be analyzing the promotional mediums through. You need to be very in-depth. I need to know the exact impressions they're getting. How does that correspond on a weekly basis? Are you getting more impressions on a weekly basis? If so, what videos are performing well? Why are they performing well? How can you reiterate that video to, focus a little bit more on the videos that have done well on that particular promotional medium? That's the type of depth that you need to be going into. So for example, if we take a look at the model's OnlyFans account, and we can see that the majority of her traffic is coming from Twitter, what we'll do is we'll then analyze her Twitter promotional strategy and look for areas of improvement, because even though Twitter may be going well for the model, I guarantee that it can go better. It can go a lot better, because all it takes is one promotional medium to actually start generating a lot of money and earnings for your model. You know, they can just have one promotional medium and be making 50K a month. So instead of thinking, you know, Twitter is working well, so we want to implement another promotional medium, we'll actually look for more growth in the platforms that are already working, instead of thinking, okay, Twitter's going well, let's implement TikTok, let's implement Instagram. No, focus on one until you nail that one promotional medium, and then you can implement a few more promotional mediums. Now, if you're starting a model off from scratch, it's always best to start off with 3 promotional mediums, test out which ones are working best, and then once you figure out which one is working best, dial in, scale that up, and then implement the other promotional mediums. Because the truth is, you need to remember, building a promotional channel from the ground up takes a lot of work. So finding a promotional channel that already has proof of concept and accelerating it will yield better results. So the KPIs, or the key performance indicators that we are looking for on a promotional channel, are the following. So click-through rate. We want to measure how effectively your promotional content encourages viewers to click and visit the OnlyFans profiles. A higher click-through rate indicates more effective advertising. Conversion rates. So we want to track the percentage of visitors who not only click, but also subscribe to the OnlyFans profiles. If we're getting a bunch of impressions on, let's say, TikTok, but none of them converting, it's not very useful. So you need to start incorporating converting content on that promotional medium. Subscriber growth. So we want to monitor the number of new subscribers gained through the promotional medium, as this is the direct measure of effectiveness in driving subscriptions. And engagement metrics. So we want to evaluate likes, comments, shares, and overall engagement on promotional posts. You know, a higher engagement is going to boost the visibility and conversions as well. So we're going to be looking through those key performance indicators when we take a look at any particular promotional medium. Now, once you're consistently performing up on a promotional medium, we can then look at the KPIs when it comes to the model's back-end account growth. If all these KPIs are good, then that's great. That means you're getting the model subscribers, you're getting the model impressions, and that means that you can start earning a lot of money for that model. So next we need to look at the back-end account growth. So monthly revenue, track the monthly earnings generated from the subscriptions and content sales. The churn rate, assess at the rate which subscribers unsubscribe, which impacts the overall revenue and account stability. Retention rate, calculate the percentage of subscribers who continue to renew their subscriptions, including content quality and subscriber satisfaction. Lifetime value, determine the average revenue generated by a subscriber over their subscription duration. Content monetization, so where are the sales coming from? What sort of content are we selling that generates the sales? Is it pay-per-views? Is it tips? Is it donations? Which one is it? So we're going to be analyzing the front end first, making sure that we're getting subscribers, and then you then focus on the back end and making sure. And it all comes down to KPIs. So if your KPIs are on point, then you don't need to worry about anything else, because as long as your KPIs are increasing, you know the account's growing, you're going to be making more money as long as all these KPIs are in place. So let's take a look at the systems that we leverage. So the above can be quite confusing, which is why we implement individual promotion and management systems when it comes to growing our models. Keeping track of all this is confusing, and you need a reliable system to not only implement what's going to increase the KPIs, but also track and report on the KPIs as well, so you can see this in a very clear view. At my agency, I spend 30 minutes a day just looking at our KPIs for our models, their different promotional channels, and then from then on, I can make an action plan in terms of how we're actually going to go about increasing some of our models' earnings. So these systems have a direct input with a corresponding output. That is a system. Input and output. You want that in a very clear view, and that clear view allows you to scale that model's account easier. So here's an example of a few systems that we implement. So promotional growth systems. So we have softwares that we leverage, automations, bots, standard operating procedures that we outsource tasks to virtual assistants. So this is an example of the systems that we have when it comes to promoting. And we use softwares to track the reporting side, automations to actually grow the account, bots to grow the account as well. And we also outsource some of these tasks to virtual assistants so we can focus working on the business rather than within it. And we also have chatter management systems, so chatter reporting, accountability calls, sales tracking, pre-built scripts, chatter onboarding, stuff that allows a chatter to get onboarded in your agency with a lot of ease and make them very efficient and profitable when plug and played into a model's account. We have account management systems, so you need wall feed optimization, pay-per-view optimization, shout out for shout outs, neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and there's much more systems that we implement for our agency. And one of my favorite sayings is you can only fall as low as your systems let you. So if I didn't have these systems in place for my agency, I would be working flat out 24 hours a day, and I wouldn't even be making as much money as I'm making at the moment with working more time. And the reason I'm able to work less and make more money is through these systems. So focus on these systems as opposed to the nitty-gritty within the model's account, because the systems will give you leverage, and you can leverage the systems across multiple model accounts. So you as an agency just need to focus on getting more models, and you have these systems in the back end that can focus on delivering that service. So here you have two choices. Choice number one, you can take the information from this video and other videos to piece together a strategy and implement in your model's account. This will take you longer to see results from, but you'll still be able to see results from implementing what we talk about in this video as well as other videos. And option number two is you can go in the description, you can book in a call with myself where we can cover and we can go over our exact plug and play systems that you can use to build a 50K a month OnlyFans management agency in 90 days. Now the call you book is just going to be a call for us to get to know each other, to see whether the systems that I have built are going to be of use to you at your current stage. So that's all we're going to be covering in the call. And then from then on, we can have a look at how we go about implementing these systems to generate results, and how we've been able to generate results not only in my agency, but all the other agencies that we manage. We manage over 50 plus OnlyFans management agencies in terms of consulting them, and we've helped some of them go from 0 to 70,000 a month in 90 days. We helped some of them go to like 25K a month in profit, 50K a month. There's even some doing 100K, 200K a month. You know, so we have a wide spectrum of consulting students that we actually help, and that puts me in a very unique perspective because I'm able to see the whole transition in terms of starting from scratch and scaling a successful OnlyFans management agency. And the truth is, the only difference is the systems that they got in place. When I'm hopping on calls with agencies who are doing 200, 100,000, they're talking about their systems, and they're talking about, okay, I have this slight leak in the system. How can I go about, filling that hole so the system performs a little bit better? As opposed to when I'm, hopping on a consulting call with someone who's just getting started, they're asking questions about, okay, I've got this model who's saying they've got problems with creating content. They're very different problems, and you need to go from step A to step Z, and I know the exact process that you need to go through. So book in a call down below, and if not, I'll see you guys in the next video.